The leading cause of chronic illness is not genetics, it's not bad luck, it's this. What you choose to put in your mouth every day has more power than you'll ever know. When I was 15, I was 100 kilos. I had a 40-inch waist. I was in so much pain every day. My brain was broken, depression, anxiety, autism, ADHD, all of it compounded into me not wanting to be here anymore. And I would just eat myself to death because eating sugar non-stop, eating cake and biscuits and fried food felt comforting to me. And it was the only thing keeping me going, but it was killing me. I didn't want to die. And at 15 years old, it's a switch flipped in my head and I was like, I can't live like this anymore. I have to change something. And I decided that that was going to be the end of me just slowly killing myself with food. And millions of people out there are suffering every day now. Right this moment, there's hundreds of millions of people suffering with obesity, with eating disorders, with depression, anxiety, with chronic illness. Hundreds of millions of people are suffering. And they want to blame everything else except the one thing that's causing it, what you eat. You've got to change what you put in your mouth to match what your body needs, not what you want. If you just eat what you want, you're going to end up with chronic illness. You have to feed your body with special nutrients that it needs. Not that hard to understand. So I'm going to try and explain to you in this video a little bit about biochemistry, about how your body works. It's not a quick fix. It's not I'm going to lose 10 pounds in 10 days and I'm going to be back to my normal crappy lifestyle again. That doesn't work. I tried that. Been there, done that 100 times, tried every fad, every quick fix, every load of nonsense I see online and try to copy. But it doesn't work. No matter if you go to these Weight Watchers, Slimming World, or drink Slim Fast shakes for breakfast, if you don't fix the root cause of why you are eating what you eat without consideration of your needs, then you will be stuck in that repetitive pattern for your whole life. And do you want that? Do you want to be sick? Do you want to be suffering with things that are avoidable? I don't. And when I was so obese, I couldn't even buy clothes. I couldn't go to a normal shop and just buy some trousers. I had to buy the oversized trousers in the men's shop, and then I had to get them adjusted to fit me. That's no way for anyone to be living. I was in so much pain. I couldn't do sports at school because all my joints hurt, all my muscles hurt, everything in my body hurt. So I couldn't exercise. I couldn't move more. It wasn't about eating less and moving more. It's about changing your mindset first so that you want to eat the right things and move more. But if you just go on some crash diet, lose a load of weight really quickly, and then go back to your normal lifestyle again, then you're just going to gain it back because it didn't gain overnight. You're not going to lose it overnight. Unless you change the reason why you were overweight in the first place, you're never going to get anywhere. You'll be in this cycle of binge, lose, binge, lose, binge, lose. And I was in that cycle for so long, and it doesn't get you anywhere. It just makes your life hell because you're constantly in this trap. It doesn't matter if you go to this weekly meeting where they shame you on the scales in front of everybody. I used to go to Weight Watchers. It was brutal. I absolutely hated it. It was absolutely no use whatsoever. I mean, if some people have had success with Weight Watchers, great, good for you. But for me, it didn't work because it wasn't addressing the root cause of why I was eating so much. So this little story I'm going to tell you today is how I lost 35 kilos in 6 months. And this is not a video for you to copy. This is a video as a warning of doing things the wrong way and doing things the right way, is what I'll tell you towards the end of the video. But There's so much information out there that is absolutely horrific about diet, nutrition, fitness. I watch fitness videos all day, and the amount of nonsense that people speak is scary because people just believe them because they've got muscles. And just because someone's got muscles doesn't mean they have any clue what they're talking about. They're just parrot repeating things they hear other people talk about without actually knowing anything about the science behind it. And if they took 1 minute to read a science paper about it, they would understand that what they were saying was nonsense. But most people don't read science papers. Most people are not scientists, so they just believe what they hear. And it's scary to see that the world is in such a desperate situation right now. Hundreds and hundreds of millions of people are really sick, and the only reason why is what they eat. That's so crazy. We've lived for thousands of millions of years on planet Earth eating what was natural to us, and in the last 50, 60 years we've totally switched that to mostly chemicals, mostly processed food. It's not real food anymore. And we wonder why we have such an epidemic of illness. And we try to blame everything else except for the main cause, the food. So unless we fix the world's food system and we stop letting the multi-trillion-dollar companies control everybody, then we're going to be stuck. And the problem is, you keep buying it and stuffing your face with it every day. And you just think it's normal. And it is normal because everybody else is doing it too. But just because everyone is doing the same thing doesn't make it right. Doesn't suddenly change your DNA and that all of a sudden McDonald's is, the most nutritious food for you. Unless you change what goes in your mouth, we're going to live with suffering on a mass scale, and it's going to get worse. It's getting worse every year, and no one's doing anything about it. When I was 15, I reached the breaking point. I couldn't go on anymore. I was 100 kilos, could barely even walk. It was not fun at all. The amount of harassment and bullying and hatred, violence against me just for being overweight was disgusting. Because every time I stepped out of my bedroom and left the house to go anywhere and do anything, I was abused by random people in the street just because I was fat. They would shout horrific things at me, physically attack me in the street. At school, it was just a complete nightmare. Every minute of every day, during lessons, during break times, after school, before school, was just constant abuse. That's all you can say. It wasn't, oh, it's just bullying. No, it's not bullying. It's abuse. Kicking the shit out of someone every day because they look different to you, or you fat shaming people on the internet. What the hell, man? Get a life. Sitting there typing away, it's because some woman has slightly curvy body. Oh, look at you, beached whale. You think you're funny. You really do. You sit there, you think, oh, look at me, I'm Mr. Hilarious. Just abusing everyone because they're slightly different looking than I am. What is wrong with you? Come on, man. We live in a brutal, brutal world right now where we could live an amazing life. We have all the technology and all the power and all the money and everything we need to live an absolutely amazing, abundant lifestyle. But we choose to hate each other because of someone being overweight. And you think that that's going to help that person by shaming them and beating them up and just making their life an absolute living hell, like my life was. I didn't start off 100 kilos. I was just a normal kid. This is me when I was starting school. I wasn't fat when I started school, but the relentless bullying every single day for being different, because I was autistic and I didn't know what that was back then. I didn't know what ADHD was back in the 80s. Not many people did. You were the either naughty kid who got spanked all the time, or no one really noticed. Like if you were the quiet kid in the corner, no one noticed if you were different, except for the other kids who just harass you every single day of your life. So I got really depressed. School was just hell. And then I ended up with a chronic pain condition that made everything even worse. And the only way I could make my life slightly better was by constantly eating sugar. Sugar is the most powerful drug, and it's available everywhere. And I ate myself until I got to 100 kilos. And that was it. I was at that point, I'm gonna, I'm gonna end up dead. If I keep on like this, I'm gonna end up dead. So I had a choice. What do I do? Do I stay living like that in this horrible body that everyone hated me for and beating me up every day, or do I change something? So I was like, at that point, I was 15. I knew I was gay, and I was like, there's no way I can be gay and massively fat. Like, there's just no one's gonna be interested in me. I had no idea like what the gay world was really like, but from what you see on TV and stuff, that was the only thing. There was no internet back then. So what you see on TV, or ripped bodies and everything, I was like, I don't look like what people think is attractive. So I thought I was the most ugly thing in the world, and no one would ever love me unless I lost weight and had muscles. So I was like, what do I do? I can't go to the gym. I'm too young to go to a gym. I hated sports. I couldn't play sports. I couldn't run. I couldn't do anything physical because of the pain in my joints. I had no idea why I had this pain every day. The pain was there before I got overweight, and then when I was overweight, the pain got so much worse. So what do I do? Well, I had two options. I could still walk, and I could still bounce. So I had a little mini trampoline, and every day I'd bounce. Just get on the trampoline and just jump, put some music on, and bounce, because I could bounce without hurting my joints. There was no impact. Running was a nightmare. I couldn't play football. Anything that involved something having a risk of hitting me was not possible. But I could bounce. So every day I'd bounce, and every day I started to walk to school. It was about 1.5 miles each direction. So I'd walk 3 miles a day and bounce. At the beginning of that mission, when I was 100 kilos, it took me 40 minutes to walk from home to school and another 40 minutes home. Then I'd get home and I'd bounce on the trampoline. And that's all I did. I didn't go to a gym. It didn't cost me any money. I just walked and I bounced. And I didn't eat breakfast and I didn't eat lunch. I would have breakfast at school, which was a cup of tea with some sugar in it. I'd have lunch at school, which was a cup of tea with a couple of spoonfuls of sugar in it. And then I'd have dinner when I got home. So I was almost intermittent fasting, doing one meal a day, which was horrible because every time I stood up, I'd pass out. I felt so sick all the time, so lightheaded and dizzy. I could barely function, but the little bit of sugar that I had in the tea kept me barely functional enough to get through school. And then I'd get home and I'd have normal dinner. And I did that every day, 6 months, and lost 35 kilos. And I lost weight so fast that in 3 months I needed a completely new wardrobe. And then another 3 months I needed another completely new wardrobe. So the amount of money it cost in clothes was ridiculous. But I got down to 65 kilos, which for a 15-year-old is like a normal weight. And yet I was still relentlessly bullied for being fat because these ignorant couldn't even comprehend the fact that I wasn't fat anymore. And they still called me all the same names they called me when I was fat, when I looked exactly like them. I mean, how ignorant and stupid do you need to be to just call someone names that don't even have any relevance anymore? It's ridiculous. Bullying is such a just pointless thing. Like, what do you get out of it? Making fun of some kid because they've got some disability or they're fat or they wear glasses or whatever. It just makes someone's life hell for no reason. So I lost all that weight. Things were better in a way because I wasn't carrying around so much extra weight. But the chronic pain didn't go away. I still had all the pain in my body. I just wasn't as fat anymore. But I still ate all the normal rubbish. I didn't change my diet at all. And over the years, I'd gain weight, I'd lose weight, I'd gain weight, I'd lose weight, I'd gain weight, I'd lose weight. And I was on that cycle for years because I didn't understand the root cause of why I was so addicted to sugar. And then I realized after learning more about biochemistry when I was at university and all the private study that I've done since, that sugar is like crack for someone with ADHD. If you eat sugar, it basically sets your brain alive and you're able to function so much better than without it. And my brain was basically hyperpowered by sugar, but I loved it so much. I was drinking caffeinated sugar drinks. I'm not going to name any brands, but you know the one I'm talking about, the brown one, and eating chocolate bars non-stop because this sugar kept my brain going and I was able to function. But sugar has way too many calories and it just doesn't help you if you have ADHD, because one, it's super addictive. It's crazy addictive. It's more addictive than cocaine. But sugar is worse. At least at least cocaine doesn't make you fat. It makes you lose weight. Whereas sugar has the opposite. It makes you gain loads of weight and kills you. My whole life I've been brutally addicted to sugar. And it wasn't till I crashed my car, ended up homeless, and my body was completely broken that I finally started to really think about nutrition. And I started to study it properly, like reading papers every day, all day, about nutrition, about fitness, about everything to do with general health. And that's when I started to design the BPM lifestyle that I live now. But now I look on the internet, and even after all the thousands of scientific papers, studying millions and millions and millions of people, and we know the root causes of most diseases, and people just ignore it or outright refuse to believe it. Study with 500,000 people showing this outcome. Oh, it's made up nonsense. I'm just going to do whatever I want. That attitude is what's killing millions of people. We know what's causing 90% or at least 80% of all chronic illness. We know the cause, but no one's doing anything about it. They always want to blame one ingredient or this one thing or this thing. Oh, it's food dyes. Oh, it's seed oils. Oh, it's this, it's that. No, it's the entire food system. It's broken completely. It's the opposite of what your biology is designed to eat, but it tastes nice. It's designed by chemists, unfortunately, like me, who sit there all day in the lab thinking of ways to make food as addictive as possible so that you can't stop eating it. It's not your fault that you're obese. You've basically been fed drugs. Food is the most abused drug because it's so quick and available everywhere, and it will instantly make you feel better when you eat it, especially sugar. If you do constantly eat sugar to deal with the emotions and stuff in your head, I comfort eating that most people do, then you've got to get rid of that energy somewhere. And you don't. You sit and eat loads of shit while you're watching TV. You're not moving at all. And at work, most of the people are having sedentary jobs. We're not out in the fields all day like we used to be, how we lived for millions of years. Now we have very sedentary lives and we more junk than ever. And we wonder why things are getting beyond control with the chronic illness epidemic. It's built in to society. It's designed that way. It's been designed that way for years, decades. They want you addicted to their food so that you buy it again and 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 again until you die. That's how they make their money. And to do that, they use chemistry to make it as moreish as possible so that you have one bite and you're like, oh my God, I need to have another one. I need to have another one. They even advertise this fact. Once you pop, you can't stop. They advertise the fact that these foods are addictive. They're designed to be as easy to eat as possible. They're designed to just melt when they go inside you because they're not made of actual solid real food. They're made of processed powders that are made together with emulsifiers and preservatives and all sorts of other flavorings and other chemicals that are all there to make it into its designed shape and texture. and to last on the shelf for years so that they can keep it in stock for huge lengths of time and still sell it to you as food. But there's no real food in it. It's not real food. It's a bunch of powders mixed together that resembles something to eat because it tastes nice because of all the artificial flavorings in it. And you eat it and you think, nom, 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 this tastes amazing. And your body is like, yeah, but where's the food? I need food. I need nutrients. I'm going to die without them. Eat more. I've got nothing. I've got no vitamins, no minerals, nothing. Eat more. So very, very soon after you eat this junk, you're hungry again because you didn't get any nutrition from what you just ate. But you've got a ton of calories, which you've now got to get rid of somehow. It's designed to keep you sick. Food companies they exist because they want to make money by selling you a food item. And the more of it you buy, the more money they make. So it doesn't matter what they do with the food if they can make it as addictive as possible by whatever additives and things they can put in it. And I'm not saying all the additives are unnatural. Sugar and salt make food more irresistible because they're two critical ingredients that your body needs. You need blood glucose, otherwise you're dead. Without salt, you're dead. So these things, where in nature were rare to find, your body reacts to them like they're drugs because they're so essential to life that when you eat it, your brain's like, oh yeah, we need this salt, otherwise the nervous system's going to break. If we don't have this sugar, our blood system can't function. We die because you need blood sugar. Ask any diabetic. If you don't have blood sugar level, you're in a hypo and you can die. If you have too much, then you have a hyper, and it's also bad for you. But a hypo is worse. We're now adding this by the ton into everything that we eat. And we wonder why people can't stop eating. Because it's just laced with addictive substances. Naturally occurring ones, but they're still addictive. And they're still killing people. But they're added in everything, but it's just a food. So there's no control. No one cares. Oh, it's got sugar in it. So what? Sugar's a natural thing. Yes, but not in the quantities that we are eating it. Hundreds of pounds of sugar every year per person. It's insane. But the food system needs to make trillions and trillions of dollars, so they have to make it as addictive as possible. And your brain chemistry cannot handle it. It just can't do it. It's like, it's so easy to just eat whatever junk because it's everywhere instantly. You don't have to wait anymore. You don't have to go and hunt a deer for, tracking it across the countryside and trying to throw a stick at it to kill it. Like, it used to be difficult to get food. Now, instant. You can get it delivered to your door in seconds. From, someone on a bike was like, right, got this Uber Eats order, and they drive to your house, and you don't even have to leave your couch to get stuffed with thousands of calories now. You don't even have to get off the couch. People bring it to you. So you can just eat and eat and eat until you can't even move. But you can't stop because you're so addicted to the sugar and the fat. Because unfortunately, in your biochemistry, you have your digestive system has one of the highest concentrations of nerve endings in your entire body. And it monitors absolutely everything that goes into your mouth, goes through into your stomach and then into your intestines. You have sensors everywhere that are there to pick up the essential nutrients that you need for survival. So when you get an amino acid, it's like, ding, little hit of dopamine because you've got something that's essential for life. So when you eat some meat, you get high. You don't notice it because you eat meat all the time. So you don't notice that you're high. But when you stop eating it, you realize that it was getting you high. And when you eat sugar, you get that instant ding directly from your tongue first that goes straight to your brain. And then when you swallow that sugar, depending what it is, if it's sucrose, it splits into glucose or fructose, and then they hit their receptors and get absorbed. And ding, more dopamine. Ding, ding, ding. Every time you eat, more dopamine. If you have ADHD and you need constant supply of dopamine, where do you get constant supply of dopamine? Food. This is why most of the people that are seriously obese are probably undiagnosed ADHD. If you are obese, maybe you should get checked, because there's a high probability that the reason why you are so addicted to food is because your dopamine system is broken and you need dopamine all day. And the easiest way to get dopamine all day is sugar. That's why it's everywhere. You can't go to any shop anywhere without bars of chocolate by the checkout everywhere. It's relentless. Drugs are all over the place. Alcohol and cigarettes and sugar are sold virtually everywhere. 3 of the most dangerous drugs. The illegal ones are much, much safer, but they're illegal because they cure addiction. How sick is that? The addiction is probably the biggest killer. Food addiction and drug addictions are probably the biggest killers in the world. And the substances that cure addiction are illegal. The ones that cause addiction are legal. The ones that cause cancer are legal. The ones that kill millions of people a year are legal. The ones that could save you from that are illegal. The food system is a complete joke. The medical system is just there to mop up the damage from the food system. The food system doesn't care about health, and the medical system doesn't talk about food. They're 2 separate entities that feed each other. The food system generates all the customers for the pharmaceutical industry, because the only things that they make are ways to treat symptoms rather than root causes. So when you go to the doctor and you say, I've got diabetes, they give you metformin, they give you insulin, and some other drugs, maybe that Ozempic now, but they're not dealing with the original. Why do you have diabetes? It's because for the last 40, 50 years, you've treated your body like a garbage can and not thought about what you put in your body. And I don't think that we can carry on as a species when we're killing ourselves with food, when we can grow abundant amounts of food for everybody. Nobody should be hungry. Nobody should be starving. Nobody should be malnourished. But yet we've got 800 million obese people and 800 million starving children who die from not having enough food. There's plenty of food for everyone. Some of the population consume 10 times what they need because they're so addicted to it, because they have undiagnosed mental health conditions or untreated mental health conditions that cause them to be super addicted to food. I was absolutely brutally addicted to sugar. All day, every day, non-stop eating sugar, because it really helped my mind work. I didn't know what ADHD was. I didn't know anything about dopamine back in the 80s and 90s. Now I know, or now I understand why my brain was like that. But no one's ever taught this. No one's ever, when you go to Slimming World or Weight Watchers, they don't talk about the biochemical reasons why you overeat, because the food is designed to be as easy to consume as possible. So you eat as much as you can without ever feeling full. If you have 500 calories worth of sweets and then you have 500 calories worth of fruit, the difference is unbelievable. It's still 500 calories each, but one is full of vitamins, minerals, nutrients, amino acids, everything, all the natural sugars. There's not so much fat in fruit, but some of them have fat as well. Whereas the sweets is just sugar, pure energy with nothing, no vitamins, no minerals, nothing. The same amount of calories. And that's the biggest problem with the fitness industry, is they quite often promote this idea that it doesn't matter what you eat as long as you're within your calorie limit. Well, that is only related if you are talking about body weight. But if you're talking about health, heart disease, diabetes, cancer, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, gout, autoimmune disease, all these diseases have root causes in food. So it does matter what you put in your mouth. It's not just about how much energy you consume and how much energy you burn. It's a very simplistic way of putting it. I mean, it's true. You have a balance. You have your energy in, which is the food you eat, and your energy out is your metabolism, how much you burn per day. And that balance needs to be met. But that's not the only thing you need to balance. You need to balance your micronutrients. You need to balance your ratios of protein, carbs, and fats. You need to balance the amount of omega-3 and omega-6 to a certain ratio, otherwise your body breaks down. You need to have a certain amount of vitamins, but not too many. You need to have a certain amount of minerals, but not too many. You need to find this balance point. And everything we do in society pushes that balance way, way off nature's intended amounts. And if you spend some small amount of time out of balance, it's okay. But when you're always out of balance for years, for decades, for lifetimes, your body cannot function. And it will slowly degrade, and chronic illness will happen faster. Everyone's going to die. I'm not saying that there's a way to become invincible by eating the right foods, no. But you can live a longer health span if you think about what goes in your mouth. This is why the whole BPM lifestyle system is a system that's not just about what you put in your mouth, but it's an entire way to balance your body's biochemistry in all aspects of life. Because if you don't, you will eventually generate problems because your body has to be in balance. We have this thing called homeostasis, where your body senses its current state, and if you go too hot, you sweat, so your body cools down. If you're too cold, your body warms up. If your blood sugar goes too high, then insulin is released, so blood sugar goes down. It goes a bit too far down, and then it needs glucagon to raise your blood sugar back up again. And there's a balance point in the middle. And if you go above or below, you have to reach back to the balance point. And that happens in all of nutrition. If you don't have the right amount of a certain amino acid, you have a problem. If you have too much of an amino acid, you have a problem. And no one teaches balance. They will teach you eat whatever you like, as long as your calories are matched. Okay, but that's not going to help you with long-term health. That's going to help you with weight control, because if you balance your energy in, energy out, you won't gain weight. But if you just ate 2,500 calories of sugar per day, you're not going to gain weight. You're going to be really, really sick eventually because you have no nutrition. So if everything you eat has no nutrition, then it's irrelevant what your calories are. It doesn't matter. Why bother even tracking when you're just not even putting any real food in your body? The human body is designed to process a certain type of food. And I'm going to really upset a lot of people here, but that real food is plants. You're not a lion. If you think you're a lion, go and try and kill a cow without a tool, with your hands and your teeth. Can you kill a cow? No. It's not a natural food for a human to eat. You can go to an apple tree and pick an apple. You can go and pick a tomato. You can go and pick a pumpkin. You can go and pick a pear, a cherry, a strawberry. You can just walk up to them, pick them, and eat them. Because you're designed to track colors with your eyes. That's why you have 3 color receptors, red, green, and blue, so you can see a red, ripe fruit on a green tree. You can tell the difference in color, and you know that they change color over time, and at a certain color, they are perfect for eating. If you eat an apple too soon, it's disgusting. If you wait till it's ripe and your eyes then detect its color change and it's now looking ready to eat, you pick it, you taste it, and then you're like, wow, this tastes really nice. I can't walk up to a cow in a field and eat it. It's not a natural thing for a human to do. It's something you've learned to do. We learned to kill animals by building self-defense tools to protect us from all the ones that wanted to kill us. And after you kill an animal that's trying to kill you, you might as well eat it because you've got nothing else to eat because it's winter and nothing grows. So we had no choice but to eat meat in the past because we didn't have farming. So why are you trying to live like a caveman today? Plants give us everything we need, and they don't give us much of the bad stuff. If you eat actual real plants, unless you're eating an actual poisonous plant, but there's plants that we know from thousands of years that we are able to eat. There's 50,000 edible plants that we've discovered. 50,000 edible plants, and we eat the same 4 animals every day. Doesn't make any sense. The human body is designed in every part of its physiology to live on plants. Why do you have a blood glucose level? Because glucose is the fuel that comes from plants. All plants make glucose. Humans eat plants, humans get glucose. It fuels your body. You can consume fat and processed fat too. You need protein, but all the protein originally comes from plants. The only reason animals have protein is because they ate plants. All protein is originally made from plants, from the amino acids. Animals cannot make amino acids from air. You have to eat them. That's why they're called essential amino acids. If you start to learn more about biology and what your body actually needs and how your body's actually designed to process food, then it becomes crazy. You go shopping and you realize that the entire shop is just full of effectively drugs that have no nutrition in them. They're just there to get you that short-term high of eating something tasty. And that's a nice feeling. I love eating a bag of sweets. I love eating a tub of ice cream. It's great. You can't do it all the time. You have to actually give your body what it needs as well before what you want. You have to meet your needs before your wants. If you just service your wants, you'll be sick. If you don't have enough vitamins in your body, you'll die, or you'll get some really horrific disease. If you don't have enough protein, you'll waste away because every cell of your body is made of it. But where you get it from matters. It matters a lot, because if you eat something that your body is not biologically designed to eat as its natural food, it has to figure out a way of making it work, because it has no choice. Because you have to live with whatever goes in your mouth. And your body will figure it out one way or another to survive. And because your body's really, really good at existing in whatever conditions it's given, it takes a very long time for these chronic conditions to develop. But we live in a world where we're given the access to all this stuff non-stop. Shops are open in cities, they're open 24 hours a day. There's no time of the day where you can't go and buy this addictive junk. It's there non-stop. It's so easy, it's so cheap, because it's not even real food anymore. And it's mass produced at such an enormous scale that they can make it so cheap that the healthy food looks expensive. But when you look at the long-term costs of eating this rubbish and what it does to your health, especially if you live somewhere that doesn't have medical care, like America, where you have to pay thousands of dollars for medical insurance and still pay thousands of dollars for copay if you ever need to use the doctor, that's just insane. None of the rest of the world is like that. But if you live in that world, you have to really think about what you put in your body. Because if you don't, you're going to end up costing God knows how much in surgery and pills and chronic illness treatments that last your entire life without curing you, because the cause is not dealt with. The cause is what you put in your mouth. And because we're in a world now where you go to the shop and there's so little real food there. It's 90% packaged nonsense. We can't carry on like this. We're dying by the millions every year from preventable diseases. Watching your friends and family die is brutal. And that, in 80% of cases, doesn't have to be that way. It's because of what you eat and do. It's harsh for people to hear sometimes, but you have to take personal responsibility for your behavior. And what you put in your mouth is a behavior. And if you're sick and you're not doing anything about what you put in your mouth, you're not going to do anything to help yourself. Your body needs whole plant foods. As many varieties of plants as you can eat. 30, 40, 50 different plants. As many plants as are available to you in your location. Wherever that is, wherever you live in the world. There are some plants somewhere. Someone sells plants somewhere, whether it's a farmer's market or supermarket or corner shop. Someone somewhere will be selling some kind of plant foods. Eat them. If you're still going to eat the trash as well, at least eat the trash with some plants. Because without them, you're going to slowly kill yourself. I almost never ate a vegetable. When I was a kid, wouldn't touch them. Hated them. If there was any vegetables in my food, I refused to eat it. If it wasn't just processed, I wouldn't touch it. I just had sugar and dairy and meat and all this other processed crap. But if it was a real vegetable, I wouldn't touch it. And my health was horrific. I was sick all the time. I was always going to the doctor for something. And they never had any solutions for me. And then finally, I figured it out. The human body needs plants. and I forced myself to eat them. It was hard. They tasted horrible. I hate vegetables. But I can't decide what my body needs. My body needs what it needs, regardless of what I like the taste of. So unless you start feeding your body what it needs, whole plant foods in the biggest variety that you can put in your mouth, you're going to cause yourself problems. This is why plant-based diet is one of the principles in the BPM lifestyle, because it's so fundamental to your biochemistry that you give your body the building blocks it actually needs to function. You're like, oh, meat has protein. We need protein. Yes, meat does have protein. It has the exact right protein for the cow to exist, or for the chicken to exist. The proteins are made in the exact ratios of what that animal needs. You're not a chicken. You are not a cow. You're not a pig. You're a human being, and a human being has its own unique set of needs. So you have to eat your body's set of needs. There's around 90 essential nutrients that you need: amino acids, omega-3 fats. You do need to eat glucose, but people say, oh, it's not essential because your body can make it through gluconeogenesis. Yes, we can make glucose from amino acids if we have to, if we starve ourselves from our natural food. We have a backup system that kept us alive through famine. It's great that we have that. That's not your main engine. Don't work on your backup engine. Eat plants to give you the fuel you need to function optimally. You can exist on a meat diet. You will eventually get sick. Don't listen to all these carnivore diet people. They're just so anti-science. It's ridiculous. Every time I see one of them speak, it's painful how much science knowledge they lack in everything they say. I don't want to go too much about that, but you're not a carnivore. You can eat it, yes, for survival, but cavemen died when they were 30. I'm 45. I'm not ready to die yet. I want to carry on a bit longer. People in their 40s are getting heart attacks because they're eating trash all day. My friend died at 37. They shouldn't be dying in their 30s. With all the advances in technology and medicine that we have at our disposal, and we're still dying from our own behavior of putting trash into your mouth. It's crazy. It just doesn't make any sense. The whole world is backwards. You believe the propaganda of the food companies and ignore the scientists who are trying to save you from the food companies. You think the big pharma's there to save you, but they're just there because you make them a lot of money. Trillions of dollars a year. While the food companies are making trillions. Do you think this is sustainable for much longer? The medical system's overloaded as it is, and it's getting worse. It should be getting better. We should have more knowledge and more understanding of biochemistry by now, and yet people seem to be even more ignorant than they ever have been. And we have all the science papers published on the internet for free. You can go and read them now. You can see what the body is designed to eat, but people won't even dare to think of going and reading a scientific study. They'll just listen to some moron influencer talking absolute nonsense, but because they've got some muscles, you believe what they say. It's scary. It's really scary because it's not that hard to find the truth if you look for 5 minutes. That's why my course has all the information saved for you, because I've spent 35 years studying it. I don't need to go and look things up anymore because I've been looking it up for my entire life, and I've condensed all of that knowledge into one place so that you can find it really easily and fix your biochemistry. And if you fix your biochemistry, you can reduce your chance of getting a chronic illness or potentially reverse one you already have. But unless you do something about your biochemistry, you're never going to heal. The pharmaceutical industry doesn't fix your biochemistry, it manipulates it. They either block a certain function or they enhance a certain function. So they don't deal with the reason why that function is out of balance in the first place. That's why one of the modules in my course is about balance. It's not just about energy balance, but it's about hormone balance. It's about work-life balance. It's about physical balance, your ability to stand on one leg, because that's a huge amount of brain power that needs to balance you. There's so many things that need balance in life, and everything we do is out of balance with our biochemistry. We have genetics now. We understand to the molecule what the body is doing in most cases. It's not a mystery to us anymore. It's all published on the internet. You can go read it for free. But people don't seem to care. They'd rather just eat themselves and drink themselves to death and then blame everybody else for their behavior. And you can't keep doing that for a whole life and get anywhere other than chronically ill. Some people are born with genetic conditions like mine, and it sucks. But I can make it at least not as bad by not poisoning myself every day. I never want to be back in the position I was where I was in pain every minute of every day. At least now my pain is under control. I don't live in constant pain now. I get injured easier because of my condition, but it doesn't mean that I'm in pain every day like I used to be. That was horrible. And it was mostly from what I was eating, because I didn't give my body what it needed, any of the nutrients. And I was just sick all the time. I was always having infections. I was always getting tonsillitis. They were threatening to cut my tonsils out at one point because I was there all the time. I was having constant colds and flus all the time. I haven't had a cold or flu for 11 years since I went to a whole food plant-based diet and started following the BPM lifestyle. I've not been to a doctor since. The only time I went to a doctor was I fell down the stairs and he did some painkillers. That was the only reason I went to the doctor. Doctors are no use for chronic illness. They're only useful for acute injury, but they don't cure chronic illness. They'll keep you alive with their pills and surgeries. They'll keep you alive longer. But unless you address the root cause, which is what you eat, it's going to be difficult for you. And I know how hard it is to beat addiction because I've had it in multiple ways through my whole life, because that's a side effect of having ADHD. Is addiction is one of the consequences of ADHD that's undiagnosed and unmanaged. Obesity is one of the results of undiagnosed, unmanaged ADHD, because that's a way of managing ADHD with food, or cigarettes is a way of managing ADHD with nicotine, or alcohol is a way of managing ADHD with alcohol. There's all these legal ways of people self-medicating their ADHD and killing themselves at the same time, while they shame anyone who takes ADHD medication and actually tries to do something with their life. What are you supposed to do? You can't win anyway. Like, society just hates people with neurodivergent qualities. Whatever you do, nothing's ever good enough. People don't have any support. They're not even believed a lot of the time. You say, I've got ADHD. It's like, oh, you're making it up. You just want some drugs. Yeah, do you know why I want some drugs? Because they can work to make ADHD at least bearable. Well, so you don't need to self-medicate with poisons. Okay, I'm not saying that ADHD drugs are the be-all and end-all of everything, but they help a lot of people. There are lots of people that suffer with side effects, which is why I promote a holistic treatment of ADHD rather than medical. Not everyone has access to medical supplies or even diagnosis of ADHD, so they self-medicate and kill themselves slowly with alcohol, cigarettes, and food. But once if you can notice in yourself that this is what's the root cause is, i.e. you have ADHD and your dopamine system is broken, and you constantly craving dopamine, and food or alcohol or cigarettes are the ways that you satisfy that need for dopamine all day, then you're going to slowly kill yourself with addiction. But there is a different way to live. It's called a BPM lifestyle. It's what I designed from 30 years studying science to help me live with ADHD, autism, and EDS so that I can live a fairly normal life. Well, not normal life, but a life without suffering. The way I live now feels like magic. I never dreamed I'd have a life as amazing as the life that I have now. When you get diagnosed with chronic pain at 10 years old and told by doctors it's never going away and you're going to live like that for the rest of your life, that's soul destroying for a 10-year-old kid. But I don't have that pain now because I decided to change it. I decided to change what I do to my body and live in alignment with my DNA, with what my body was designed to process by millions of years of evolution, or by God design, or whatever your belief is. The fact is, you have a body that has DNA, and that DNA has certain needs. Every animal has different needs based on their DNA. Mikey, he's a dog. He can go and eat meat naturally. He doesn't need any tools to kill an animal, he can kill an animal very easily with his teeth. He can just rip it to pieces alive, swallow it whole, and not even think about it. I can't do that. I can't even imagine walking up to a chicken and getting its feathers and all, biting its head off. That's not a natural thing for a human to do. And you certainly couldn't even attempt to kill a cow or a pig or a sheep with your teeth. It's not possible. He can. He's a dog. That's what he's designed to eat. Humans are designed to pick fruits and vegetables and dig things up out of the ground, like carrots and potatoes. It's not that hard. We have literally thousands and thousands of studies to prove everything that I've said in this video. It's all there on the internet. Go read it. Or you can join my course and get it all condensed into one easy to follow platform. It's up to you. But the BPM lifestyle is free. You can go and download the free guide, and it'll give you all the 21 principles that apply to every human on Earth. There's not a single human on Earth that don't apply to you because they're based on your DNA. You can either go and download the guide, do the things in the guide, and not bother learning anymore, or you can join the course and learn everything in more detail and get support. But if you do nothing, then maybe you're okay now. Maybe you're 20, maybe you're 30, maybe you're 40 and you still don't have any symptoms. And then you're 45 and you drop dead from a heart attack because there are no symptoms. Your arteries get blocked up very, very slowly, but you can't feel it. You don't know. And then all of a sudden, bang, you're dead. That's it. Game over. There was no warning sign. There was no, oh, you've got high cholesterol, therefore I think you're gonna have a heart attack. Like, it doesn't matter what your cholesterol is. That doesn't tell you whether you've got atherosclerosis or not. It just tells you your cholesterol level. It doesn't tell you what arteries are this close to being blocked. And then bang, you're dead. For most people, the first sign of a heart attack is their first heart attack. And then a lot of people don't make it through their first heart attack. Some people survive, and some people are able to have stents and bypass surgery and some other things to keep you alive. Some people can't. It's really sad. But there's no symptoms. It just happens one day. Bang, heart attack. But it didn't happen on that day. It happened every day for the last 40, 50, 60 years of everything that you've put in your body. Because every bite of food counts. It matters what you eat. It really does. And if you just take a little bit of time to learn just the basics of biochemistry, you don't have to get a degree in biochemistry. You don't have to study it for a lifetime like I have. But you just need to understand the basics of what the body needs and how to meet those needs. And that's what the BPM Lifestyle course does. It teaches you what the needs are, why you need to do the things that I teach, and how to do the things, and how to implement them into a daily routine that enables your body to regain balance. If your blood sugar isn't balanced and it's too low or too high, you have diabetes. And you are going to die eventually unless you manage to find balance. And the only way you can get balance is by injecting insulin and constantly measuring your blood sugar. But if you think about what you eat first, then you won't get to that point of needing insulin. It's not woo-woo magic. It's not some crazy fad. Just eat plants. People who eat an all-vegan plant diet, whole food plant diet, have lower all-cause mortality, lower in cancer, lower in heart disease, lower in diabetes. But let's just ignore millions of people's scientific results, thousands of studies across decades. Let's ignore all the research into the people who live to 100 years old. Let's ignore everything and just eat whatever we want until we die. Or another option, you can learn what your body needs. You can give your body what it needs. And if you meet your needs, you can then service your wants to a degree, but not to excess. If I have the occasional chocolate bar, it's not the end of the world. But having 10 a day, it's not good for you. I used to go to, remember Woolworths in England? Woolworths used to have 5 chocolate bars for £1. So I used to go on the way to school, 5 chocolate bars for £1. I'll have some of that. By the time I got to school, all 5 chocolate bars were gone. Sitting on the bus, nom, 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 nom. I must have eaten God knows how many thousand calories in just chocolate bars a day. And then I'd have 2 litres of soda every day. I don't know how many calories that is. That's a lot of sugar in 2 litres. 200 grams of sugar just from the soft drink. It's insane. 200 grams of sugar just from a drink. And this is just normal. It's everywhere. 200 grams of sugar just from a drink. No wonder I was 100 kilos. So I share this story because so many people suffer with obesity and they have no control over what they put in their mouth because they've been programmed since birth to eat absolute trash. And they're so addicted to it, they can't stop. And it's really hard to break the food addiction because this trash is everywhere. Everywhere you go, there's absolute junk. Unfortunately, dopamine controls what you do. You don't have a choice what you do in most cases. Dopamine controls you because your brain is designed to hunt down the next source of dopamine, especially if you have ADHD. You're literally wired to seek dopamine because that's evolutionary attached to survival. Finding sugar in the wild meant you lived a bit longer. You could survive today. So your body got this massive high. Find that again. Eat that again. Eat that again. Eat that again. Eat that again. Because you don't know when the next famine is coming and you won't eat for a month. So if you find something sweet, your body's naturally designed to binge on that as much as possible to get as much calories in you because you don't know when the next famine's coming. But the next famine isn't coming because we have food available 24/7, 365 days a year. There is food everywhere because we figured it out. Farming is so efficient now that we produce way more than we need. And yet we still have people starving. We have enough food for everyone, but we let millions of children starve to death. We can spend trillions on bombs, but we can't give some kids some rice. It just doesn't make any sense. What are we doing to ourselves? Killing ourselves with food, killing ourselves with addictive drugs, banning the ones that save us, and then blowing each other up. Can't live like this with 8 billion people. Got to start thinking about how we behave, what we do, what we eat, what we drink, how we treat each other. Stop abusing people just because they look different to you or they think different to you. Beating someone up because they're fat or they're gay or they're black or they're Asian or they're Muslim or they're Jew or they're whatever. Fighting over stupid ideas in our heads. Kill each other for someone thinking different to you. You got to learn what body you are in. You're a human being. You have human being needs. You're not a lion. Lions have lion needs. Cows have cow needs. Dogs have dogs needs. Humans have humans needs. It's not that complicated. Everything I teach in the BPM lifestyle is free. They're just behaviors that if you do, you will reduce your chance of chronic illness by a ridiculous amount. I haven't done a study because I haven't got millions of dollars, but it's free. Just try it. It's free. Don't have to say, oh, I can't afford to be healthy. It's free. Everyone can afford to be healthy. You can't afford to be sick. That's when life gets expensive. Because if you're sick and you can't work, you've got no money, you can't live, when you're sick and you can't do the things that you need to do to survive. That's where life gets expensive. Being healthy isn't expensive. All the things, all 21 principles of the BPM lifestyle don't cost any money. Don't cost any more money than what you currently spend. You don't have to go and buy some pill. You don't have to go and buy some expensive equipment. You just have to change your behavior, and most, not all, but most health problems will improve. You can't fix genetic problems because they're genetic. They're built into your code. But you can stop damaging the DNA you already have that is working right now. Most people are not born with cancer. They develop it over time. Most people aren't born with heart disease. It develops over time. Most people aren't born with diabetes. It develops over time. Most people are born relatively healthy. There are some people that are born with conditions that there's nothing we can do about them. But we can still make that person's life as good as we can. Some people are born with disabilities and mental disorders and some horrible children's cancers and all those other horrible things that happen to young people. And it's really, really sad to see. There's nothing we can do about stopping those things. But we can save millions of people's lives by one simple thing. Change what you eat. It's not that hard. These companies, these multi-trillion-dollar companies exist because you keep buying their products. Just stop. You really need to think about your life and what you want from life, because the way you behave now dictates your life in the future. Where you are right now is a result of the billions of choices you have made from birth to now. Depending on how old you are, there will be bigger amounts of choices and smaller amounts of choices. But your life today is the result of all those choices combined. And if your life right now isn't perfect and the way you want it to be, the only way to change your future is to change your choices, and those choices will have different consequences further down the line. But it's not an immediately noticeable effect. These effects compound over time, like compound interest on a bank account. When you get interest on your interest on your interest, it goes up exponentially. If you just change one thing in your life for 1 week, it's not going to make any difference. If you change one thing in your life for a month, overall, it's probably not going to make any difference. You have to change multiple things consistently for your entire life to meet your needs every day. And every day you don't meet your needs, you are pushing the balance further towards chronic illness than optimal health. And it's okay to, occasionally the balance is going to move up and down, because that's what balances do. They go up, they go down. As long as they go up and down and don't go all the way one side or the other and get stuck there. At that point where you're stuck and you keep pushing your body to reach that balance point again is so much harder. If you've been addicted to something for decades, to quit it is brutal, because the amount of pain that you have to go through to reach the other side of that balance point is so difficult. To break a food addiction, to break a drug addiction, to break a gambling addiction, a shopping addiction, or porn addiction, or whatever addiction you're dealing with, it's really hard, because the amount of pain that you will suffer going through that withdrawal is so difficult. But I want to let you know there's hope. There's ways to break these patterns. There's ways to break addictions. There's ways to help your body thrive. And it's not that hard. It really isn't. I built this system when I was homeless. So don't tell me you haven't got enough money to do it. It's free. Just do it. It just requires you to do it. You have to actually make that choice. And it's all just a choice. At the end of the day, everything you have in life is a result of your choices. Everything you're going to have is a result of your choices. Because that's all you have, is your conscious ability to make a choice. Your body just reacts to that choice. You choose it. You direct your life through your choices. It's the most fundamental thing about existence, is that your consciousness chooses something and your body reacts and does that thing. But we let go of this conscious choice, and we let our brains be dictated to by automated processes where we're not even really thinking about what we're doing. We're running on autopilot. When you drive a car, you're driving down the road, you're not thinking about everything you do. It's an autopilot. If you have an eating addiction problem, you're eating without thinking about it. You're just eating it because your body knows that by doing this behavior, you can get lots of dopamine, and your body wants dopamine all the time. So your brain will basically remote control you and make you do these things unless you consciously choose to stop it. And that's where the power comes in. You have to consciously interrupt your impulsive nature. It's impulsive to eat another sweet. You eat one, it's impulsive to just keep doing. You're not thinking about picking up. You're not thinking about the muscle contractions to move your hand down, to move it up to your face. You're not thinking about any of that. It's automatic, because your body knows that if it does that one more time, it's going to get more dopamine. And it's the easiest thing to do. You don't have to exert very much energy for the massive reward that you instantly get. There's almost no expenditure of resources to get a massive hit of dopamine. That's why drugs are so addictive, because it's even bigger peaks of dopamine with even less amounts of work. This is not about blaming you. It's not your fault that you're suffering with any of these addictions and food problems and obesity and chronic illness. It's not your fault. But responsibility for what you do is essential. You have to take responsibility for your actions. You can't just keep externalizing blame. It's the donut's fault. It's the alcohol's fault. It's the cigarette's fault. They're just inanimate objects. They don't do anything until you pick them up and do something with it. And if that process is an automated learned pattern, i.e. addiction, you've learned that picking up that cigarette, putting it to your mouth gives you a really good high from the nicotine and all the other chemicals in it. It's an automated behavior, and interrupting that is really hard. Because if you interrupt that behavior, your brain's like, where's the dopamine that I was supposed to get? Where is it? And your dopamine levels crash. And at the point they go below baseline is brutal. And nobody wants to be there in that dip where you've got the peak of your high and you go back to baseline and you go beyond baseline down into this little deep dopamine hole, and you want to get back up so high again because that's so painful. So you take the drug again, or you eat the sugar again, or you do the gambling or the porn or whatever it is that you're using to keep that dopamine high. You're going to keep on doing that behavior because that dip in the dopamine is so painful that you want to avoid it at all costs. My system teaches you how to manage dopamine naturally, without drugs, without food, without money. Just give your sensory system the feedback that it needs, and you will get more dopamine for free. You don't have to go and get medication to boost your dopamine. You don't need drugs to boost dopamine. You just need to learn how the system works. That's why I teach it in multiple modules. I talk about dopamine because it's so important for ADHD and autism. You have to control your dopamine, or dopamine will control you. That's where you go from impulsivity to intentionality. You have to be intentional with your behavior. Why are you doing something? What is the root cause of the behavior? Why are you sitting there putting poison in your mouth constantly, or drinking poison, or smoking poison, or whatever? Pick your poison, whatever poison you. Why are you doing that? Why are you gambling? Why are you shopping? Why are you watching porn? What are you getting from that? What is that dopamine peak masking? You're feeling good for those moments, but when you're down here, what are you feeling down here that's making you want to go back up here again so much? Unless you deal with these thoughts down here and the why that you do the thing you do. I mean, I was depressed. I didn't want to live because I was in chronic pain and was literally in a living hell being bullied every day. So that was the dip. I didn't want to be dead, so I constantly ate food, but the more I ate, the worse it got. The same with all addictions. They all start off as a way to cope with something. And then as you get deeper and deeper into the addiction, it becomes inescapable, or it feels inescapable. But there's no such thing as an inescapable addiction. It just takes a lot of work. I'm not saying any of this is easy. This is not a quick fix. Don't stop looking for quick fixes. Look for root cause fixes. Fix your mindset. That's why one of the whole modules is mindset, because your mind controls everything you do. And if you don't control your mind will just do what it wants. And that's seek the most dopamine possible, because you're designed to do that. And if you go against that design, then it feels really horrible. You have to change the way you behave to give your body what it needs through your behaviors that are benefiting you, not destroying you. I get all the dopamine that I want all day long, every day, for free, by following my passion. I just do what I want all day, and I'm excited to do what I want because I love what I do. It's not necessary for me to pump myself full of drugs to motivate me to get off the couch and do something, because I'm so excited to do the thing because it's something I want to do. I don't need help. But we live in a world where people are forced to do what they don't want to do. They have to have some rubbish job they hate just to survive, because we've lived in a world for so long that's controlled by billionaires where they own everything and you're their slave, and you need to work to survive, and you have to have some kind of crappy job that you hate. And to get through that job, you're constantly drinking coffee, having sugar, smoking cigarettes, or whatever else you do to get you through the hell of each day. But if you design your lifestyle properly, and I was homeless, I had nothing else to do apart from design my life from the beginning. So, okay, how do I go from living in my car to not living in my car? What do I need to change? Something's wrong in what I'm doing that's led me to where I am. And if I don't change something from here, where else can I go? I'm already homeless. What else am I going to do? Just going to be dead. But the next stage is to die because you've got no shelter and support. I didn't want that. So I figured out, how can I get from here to here? I own a hotel. I have amazing life. My chronic illness is under control. I'm not in chronic pain anymore because I changed my behaviors, my choices every day. I was like, what can I do today to look after my needs and to make sure that tomorrow I'm also able to take care of my needs and live a life of meaning and purpose? Why am I here? What am I doing? I'm not here to be somebody's slave. I'm here to have fun. I'm here to help people. I'm here to live my life the way I choose, because this is my life, not yours. You don't get to dictate how anyone else lives their life. But through my whole life, everybody else has had their say in what I'm allowed to do, what I'm allowed to think, what I'm allowed to eat, what I'm allowed to have as a job. None of your business how I live my life. I live my life under my rules, where I'm kind to people, I help people, I'm kind to animals, I don't kill them for fun. I cuddle them for fun, play with my dog rather than slit his throat for a sandwich. I try to help people where I can. I have as much fun as possible every day. I follow my dreams, whatever that is. They change, they evolve over time, but I follow my passion every day. Making videos is my passion. I've been doing this for 23 years. I've been making videos, originally on VHS tapes, because there wasn't digital cameras back then. You know, it's been a long time where I've been a video creator because it's what I love to do. And now I want to share my decades of experience and all the lessons that I've learned with people younger than me or older than me that haven't learned those lessons yet, to help you also live an amazing life. Why not? Why live a miserable life? Make changes today. If you're not in your amazing lifestyle, design it. Start today. What are you going to do? How are you going to make tomorrow better? What can you do to fix your diet? How can you introduce a little bit more healthy food and a little bit less junk food? I'm not saying go all in one day. Transition slowly. Integrate habits daily. For just change one thing, and then the next week change another thing, and slowly compound your habits over time, and you'll fix your diet, you'll fix your health, you'll fix your business, you'll fix your life. Everything can be fixed, but only if you actually take the effort to do it. And that's hard. And I'm not saying, no, this is going to instantly change your life overnight. No, you're going to have to really work at changing your life, because it's hard living on a planet floating through the universe. But if you learn a few basic tools and how to use those tools, and a little bit of understanding about how the human body works and how the universe works, you are basically an interaction of energy fields. You are an energy field that interacts with the earth, which is an energy field. And that interaction has certain effects on you. Your environmental stimulation affects you. Your electromagnetic field affects the people around you. And everything is a equal and opposite reaction, as we say in physics. You need to understand a little bit of the basics about how the universe works. You don't have to be a quantum physicist or a chemist or a biochemist or a doctor to have a basic understanding of how the universe works. It's critical that you know a little bit about how your body works, because it's the only body you've got. You can't trade it in for a new one, not yet. Maybe in a few years we'll get that technology, but at the moment you've got one chance, one body. And if you just treat it like absolute trash, just poison it every day, and you get sick, you've only got yourself to blame, really, because this is all free. You can't say, oh, I can't afford it. Oh, nonsense. Stop making excuses. You need to take responsibility for your behavior. The first step is thinking about what you put in your mouth.